Well, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take Five. And we're going to keep it pretty short today. We're in Exodus 22. We're going to start with verse 25 and just go to the end of the chapter. All right. Thank you so much for watching. It's good to know that my daughter is I get to talk to her every day. So it's pretty cool. Verse 25, if you lend money to one of my people among you who is needy, do not treat it like a business deal. Charge no interest. All right, he's just saying, look, you don't try to take advantage of people. If you lend money, just make sure they pay you back what they owe you, but you don't charge them interest. Just fair. Verse 26, if you take your neighbor's cloak as a pledge, return it by sunset. Now, the cloak was like the big heavy garment. All right, and maybe you needed it for something that particular day, but you needed to return it by sunset because it got cold at night, see? And they needed it. And that's what it says in the next verse 27. Because that cloak is the only covering your neighbor has. What else can they sleep in? When they cry out to me, I will hear, for I am compassionate. All right, so even if they borrow something from you, say, and they say, hey, okay, or if they owe you money and they say, here, you can have my cloak. All right, you can hold this. All right, well, you still got to let them have it at night. Now, they need to give it back to you the next day until they pay you whatever they owe you. Okay, I hope that made sense to you. Verse 28, do not blaspheme God or curse the ruler of your people. All right, I think that's pretty obvious. We don't blaspheme God. And even in the Ten Commandments, it says we don't take the Lord's name in vain. But look at that next part. Don't curse the ruler of your people. All right, and you're going to see later on, we're studying Moses. When they start bad-mouthing Moses, God takes it pretty serious. All right, and I think for us, it would refer to either our preacher or our president. I think it's okay for criticism to some degree, but not. You can't go. You got to be careful. You can't go too far with it. You don't curse them, certainly. You don't wish bad things happen to them. All right, so just be careful. Yeah, I think even in politics, sometimes maybe they go a little too far on that, but just my opinion. Verse 29, do not hold back offerings from your granaries or your vats. In other words, you don't just hoard stuff. All right, if you got stuff, give it away. And you see this constantly throughout the Bible. God is not wanting us to accumulate things. It's okay if we have things, but we need to have those things so we can bless other people with them. You must give me the firstborn of your sons. All right, now that does not mean sacrifice them. Doesn't mean kill them. Okay, now when it comes to the animals, and we're going to deal with that in the next verse, it does mean that. God wanted you to sacrifice them. But the firstborn, it meant that you take your firstborn son and you give him to service of the Lord in the tabernacle or later in the temple. All right, they don't have one of those yet, but when they make a tabernacle, that's what it's going to be talking about there. All right, verse 30, do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them to me on the 8th day. All right, so they can only stay with them for a week, then they're gone, and somebody else takes care of them. And actually they sacrifice them with the animals. Verse 31, you are to be my holy people. Do not eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts. Throw it to the dogs. All right, so if you're out hunting and you come across an animal that's already dead, you can't eat it. He says, you're my holy people. You deserve better than that, is basically what he's saying. And in the application here, I'm just going to take a minute or two. You need to remember that you are a daughter of God. So keep your standards high. Don't settle. I think that's the point of this verse here. Okay, don't settle for what everybody else settles for. All right. He told them, don't eat the meat of an animal torn by wild beasts. Don't just take leftovers that somebody else didn't want, whether it comes to when you're dating or a job or anything like that. Go for the best. Do the best you can. That's what it's saying here. Friends, make sure you get the best ones that you can. You're a holy people. You're God's daughter. So don't settle is my point to you today. I haven't had too many points lately. We've just been kind of go through them, but I want you to get that point. Don't settle. You're God's daughter. you can do better. All right, I think that's a really good point. Okay, that's going to be all we're going to do today. I guess we'll be in chapter 23 tomorrow. And I did take the whole 5 minutes. Sorry, it wasn't short. See you tomorrow on the next edition of Take 5.